Hi, baby.
Odd background behind this dish. It was invented by a man named Keo Sananekone in Oahu, Hawaii. So this was not invented in Thailand. Not only that, but Keo himself was actually Laotian. So he was not a Thai. He did not develop this in Thailand, but he used Thai ingredients, and he had several Thai restaurants in Oahu. Easily the best Thai food I've ever had. None of them no longer exist. I don't know where he went, but his food was wonderful. And this was his signature dish. He made a chicken version and a vegetarian version, which we used to eat, and then we tried it with mahi mahi, and that became our favorite. Today we're trying it for the first time with lobster. Okay, here's my Kaffir lime tree, also known as a magrut lime. I guess the word Kaffir is offensive to some cultures, so we are now calling it the magrut lime. Anyways, this is something you see in Asia a lot, typically Thai, Vietnamese, Laotian food. I'm lucky enough to have a tree. Typically the lime is not the most important part of this tree, but I do have a tree that gives us lots of these exotic Kaffir limes. Very strange looking, bumpy lime that with a real strong, pungent flavor. Very exotic taste, but they are not real juicy limes, but a little tiny thin slice in a drink is really interesting. Anyway, the characteristic of this lime is the double leaf. Okay, so here's a typical Kaffir leaf. It's like a double lime leaf. This is where all the flavor is for the food, for the Thai food or Laotian food. This is what makes Thai food taste like Thai food. It's a beautiful, beautiful flavor. Anyways, that's part of the... Okay, this is the chili we're going to be using. This is a Hawaiian chili right here, also known as a bird chili. You can tell the difference between other of these hot chilies. This one grows pointing upwards instead of hanging down like most chilies. Anyways, this has real decent amount of heat, but the nice thing about it is it also has a huge amount of flavor. This is not a chili that is just hot for heat's sake. It's actually beautifully tasting chili, but you just got to be careful how much you use. It's going to really depend on how much you can handle, actually, to be honest. It's a hot one for sure. Okay, just a word here about certain dishes. Certain dishes I would really stick to exact ingredients. Some other dishes you can kind of cheat here and there. When it comes to Evil Jungle Prince, really essential ingredient is the lime leaf. That's the magrut lime leaf, also known as Kaffir lime leaf. This is the lime itself, but you hear some recipes where they say if you can't find Kaffir lime leaf, use lime zest. You know what? If you can't find Kaffir lime leaf, make something else. It is absolutely critical. So is the lemongrass is critical. Another thing unfortunately I'm veering away from is that the original recipe called for Italian basil, and it really does work better in this case. I don't happen to have any right now. All I have is Thai basil. It's okay as a second choice. Believe it or not, the Italian basil works better in this so-called Thai dish. Here, I'm just going to do a couple of garnishes for the meal. Okay, so first we'll do a green onion brush. Take a green onion and take off the root. Maybe cut it to about that length right there, and then really easy, take a pin and just slice it many times as you want. As you roll it, slice it again and again and again. Okay, all the way around, entire way around. Don't mind if a few pieces pull out and come off, it's fine. Just really get a lot of little feathery pieces and then dunk it in the ice water. Now we're going to do chili peppers. Chili pepper flowers. Cut the very tip off just a little bit like that. This is called the Lorena Bobbitt maneuver. Oh, bad joke, sorry. Then, same thing, but maybe not as many. Just maybe really calculate how many petals you want. Just run them 3/4 of the way down the chili, all the way to the end. Make sure you get all the way around the chili though, so you don't have one big petal and a bunch of small petals. Anyways, no wrong way to do it, to be honest. Anyways, put that in the ice water. I'm going to do this a little bit longer to see if we get better looking flower. Just do this. You're going to want this in the ice water at least an hour. So start this early. You can then start your cooking while these stay in the water. They're going to absorb water, and the membranes are going to swell up and cause this to flare out like a flower petal. Anyways, let's try that. Again, no wrong way to do it. Just do your best. Put that in there. Okay, you should work with any long. Okay, this is the peanut sauce we're going to use for the summer rolls. The ingredients are, I'm not going to give you exact measurements. It's, cooking is just kind of by eye. Pinch of this, a scoop of that. Anyways, so what I have is a peanut oil, minced fresh ginger, diced Kaffir lime leaf, magroot lime leaf. I've got about 2½ Hawaiian chili peppers minced up real small, and then I have 1 large tablespoon, little heaping tablespoon of peanut butter. This is Smucker's, and the reason why I chose that is the ingredients. The ingredients are peanuts and less than 1% salt, nothing else. Okay, after that sautés for a while and gets soft, the next 2 and final ingredients are fish sauce and coconut milk. I'll probably use about 1/3 of that can of coconut milk and just a couple, maybe a tablespoon of the fish sauce. Okay, what kind of fish sauce do you want to use? There's lots of different kinds. Some are more associated with different Asian cultures. I'm sorry, I'm going to be real simple here. I buy the one in the square bottle. This changes names over the years. I used to buy this, it was called Tiparos. It's changed names a few times, now it's called Lucky, but it seems to be the one associated with Thai food, while as one called Patis is more Filipino food. So that's a round bottle. Really don't know the difference. They probably taste identical. This is the one I've been using because I know the Thais use. Okay, next I've got these shrimp, and they're on skewers. Only so when I cook them in this salted water, they cook straight and not curved like shrimp usually does. They need to be straight for the summer roll. So in they go. These are only going to take a few moments, so make sure you have an ice bath ready for them to chill them down, shock them down. Yeah, you don't want to cook them long. We're talking about a minute maybe. These are, I think, 3140s. It'll take about a minute, minute and a half max. Next ingredient, these are bean threads. They're made of mung bean starch and potato starch. That's it. Okay, these need to be soaked in warm water for a few minutes and then boiled for about 2 or 3 minutes, plunged into ice water. This is going to be part of the ingredients to the summer rolls. That's them soaking right there, getting the water hot to boil them. When that's done softening up a little bit. Okay, so these are the rice papers I'm going to use for the summer roll. I'm not seeing a size on them except 12 ounces, 340 grams. Anyways, they're about 9 or 10 inches across. Okay. Also, these recipes are not completely perfectly traditional. I might veer off course here and there, but isn't that what kind of cooking's all about? You do your own touches a little bit, but mostly pretty close to traditional. Anyways, what you want to have is you want to have a dish of water, a plate. It's ideally has a kind of a high lip on it so it could hold that water. We're going to use that to soak the rice paper till they're the right softness and then roll these summer rolls. Okay, this is the mise en place for the summer rolls. You've got the shrimp that have been sliced in half lengthwise, cucumber, thinly sliced carrots, mung bean sprouts, and some washed off green leaf lettuce. Now this is the herb mixture. That's Thai basil, cilantro, and mint. And then avocados. You've got your rice papers. This is the bean thread. It's chilling in ice water. And this is the water bath to soften the rice papers. So the way I do it is I take one piece of rice paper, put it in the water, make sure one side gets wet, and submerge it. This only takes a minute or so to get soft enough to handle. And then I want to have some paper towels to pat it dry a little bit before I assemble the roll. Okay, this won't take long. Okay, I use 2 rice papers. I do one, assemble the roll, roll it up, and then I soften another one. And it makes a better roll, I think. It's not as flimsy. Also, when I'm done, I roll it up and I put it on this plate that has cooking oil sprayed onto it, just so they don't stick. Okay. Okay, so spread out the rice paper as much as possible without any wrinkles if you can. It's going to be sticky at this point, so you got to kind of work fast. What I normally do is once I get the first rice paper laid out as flat as I can, I put the second one in the water to start getting soft. And then when you build the summer roll, you have to do it in reverse. So you want the most attractive part to be showing through the rice paper. So I start with the pink shrimp skin on the outside, because that's the thing people want to see is the shrimp. And then they want to see a little bit of avocado behind that. Put some avo next, like that. And then you got the background, which is the green leaf lettuce. You just want to backdraw, so put the dark side down, facing away from you. And the dark side, like that. And then you do the fillings. The fillings are this herb mixture with basil, cilantro, mint, and a little bit of green onion, mung bean sprouts. Then you want to get some of this bean thread. I just want a little bit, and I dry it off a little bit first. Then you put the bean thread in there. It's kind of a standard ingredient. Cucumber. Maybe some of these really thin carrot shavings. Actually, I want to put those more towards the outside, like that. Then start rolling this. I let it go too long. It's sticking to the cutting board. That might be disaster. Okay, just like a burrito, kind of roll the ends in, like that. Yeah, I let it go too long. Now I'm in trouble. Probably can correct it with the second one, hide any mistakes. The second, oh yeah, that's really stuck to the... Okay, we did it. That's a little bit loose, but we can tighten it up this time around. The next one, Okay. Stretch it out as much as you can. Okay. Okay. And that's how it should end up looking right there. Okay, so I'm gonna get the appetizer ready. Cut these summer rolls on a diagonal like that. Something like that. Then we've got our little kind of ugly chili pepper flowers. Not the prettiest thing in the world. A little green onion brush. We'll do that right there. That right there. Okay, this is a mise en place for the Evil Jungle Prince. So heating up some peanut oil right there in a deep saucepan. And so a lot of this food is already blanched or cooked, so it's going to go in at the very end. So Thai food, I believe, is often done in stages, best done in stages. This will be the most cooked stage right here. The raw onions, ginger, garlic, lemongrass, magroot, lime leaf, and chili peppers. Those all need cooking. When they're nice and softened a little bit, I'm going to put in the fish sauce and the coconut milk, poach that for a while, and then the vegetables need a teeny bit more cooking. Will be the red peppers and the carrots. The rest of these are cooked enough. These were blanched for about 15 seconds and then put in chilled water, ice water. Baby corn, and then this lobster's cooked. It'll go in at the very end. The final thing that'll go in is fresh Thai basil. Okay, so these are the aromatics sizzling away in the peanut oil. That's the lemongrass and the ginger, garlic, onions, magroot, lime leaf, chili peppers. For a couple of minutes. Okay, now some of the veggies that need a little bit of cooking, the carrots and the red bell pepper. Only about a minute or so, 2 minutes maybe, and then I'll put the rest in. And I'll put the coconut milk in after that. Anyway, soften those veggies up just a little bit. The whole house is starting to smell like Thai food. Okay, now kind of poaching everything in coconut milk right there. I use the top half of the coconut milk. It separates out into kind of like an oil, and then the cream on top. I try to keep mostly just the cream so it stays a little more on the thick side, not real thick. Thai foods are typically thinner, soupier than Western foods that are thickened with things, but I don't want it real watery, so I use the cream on top. It makes it a little richer. Okay, putting some fish sauce in there. You don't need a lot. It's strong, but it's beautiful. And then I put the vegetables that were blanched already in the lobster that was cooked, so we're only bringing this up until it's hot, and then it's finished. Okay, gonna turn off the heat now. I've got the lobster claws on top. They're gonna go as a garnish on top. But we're gonna arrange this by putting the jasmine rice down first, finely shredded cabbage, and then Evil Jungle Prince on top, the garnish, and then fresh basil. The basil does not need to be cooked. It should be put on fresh, green, and uncooked, and it just makes the whole dish. Okay, there is what we usually have Thai food with. That's the Singapore Sling with the Luxardo cherry right there. Best cherries in the world right there. Bam. Okay, so this is jasmine rice with finely shredded cabbage on top. And I'm going to put the Evil Jungle Prince on top of that. And the whole idea is you want some of that soupy coconut milk. Lots of veggie. That's the thing about it also. It is so many veggies. Makes it a healthy, more or less, but delicious dish. And then also make sure you get just a little bit more lobster than your wife gets, because that's how it goes when you're in a patriarchal abode, and I will hear about that later. Anyways, more scoops of juice. Okay, sorry, forgot the garnish. That's 2 lobster claws right there, right on top for the garnish right there. Okay, and then after that, zip over here to some Thai basil and sprinkle it on raw right over the top and a little bit on the floor, or it's not going to taste right. Okay, final touch for this kind of meal would be a Singapore sling. Okay, so we start with some gin, a little bit of gin-based drink. This is our version of it. It veers away from the real version. I use some Saint Germain, that's a elderberry liqueur, a little bit of Grand Marnier, and then we got lime juice right here. I forgot to take the lid off, and I'm filming this with one hand. Hold on one second. Okay, lime juice, where I left off. A little bit of lime juice, a bit of pineapple, and what else are we forgetting? Soda. This is carbonated water right there. And then we float cherry brandy. We're out of that. We are using blackberry brandy. Then we have 1 traditional lime squeeze and a very thin piece of Kaffir lime. And I'm not going to throw that rind in there because it's so strong. Last but not least, Luxardo cherry. And then a little bit of Luxardo cherry juice. La dat. Boom. That's it. Bon appetit.